Well, good morning, everybody. And here we are on a beautiful day in May, and we are doing our employee to entrepreneur interview this week with Samira Walli. And I have to say, this is going to be a really interesting one. Samira and I met, and when I found out about her business, I was really excited because she has made a profession out of fashion styling and shopping. But when she first started her career, way back, well, it wasn't that way back, but when she was in university, she became a mathematician, and she went on into the corporate world where she used those skills and had a great career. But then it all changed, didn't it, Samira?
It
So
did.
I would love for you to share with everybody how you decided to leave the corporate world and start this business, and tell us a little bit more about what your business is, the Designer Day Tonight.
So I decided I'm going to backtrack a little to talk about how I even went into math to begin with. Like most people, I had no idea what to do with my life. And my dad was my inspiration. He used to do all the math in his head. And we lived then in a world where you'd go to the grocery store and you'd have cash only. So, picking up all the produce and all of that, he would do all the calculations in his head and be like, yeah, we have enough money to pay for the groceries, that sort of thing. Wow. So it was really inspiring. And I chose math at Waterloo because I felt it was something I was good at. I actually had no idea what I would do with it. I didn't want to be a teacher, more so because I felt I didn't have the patience to teach math, although I understood it well and excelled at it. So while I was doing math at Waterloo, one of the courses in the math umbrella was databases. And so I chose that and really enjoyed it. I then went on to financial institutions and did dashboards and reporting and worked with data. Loved it.
And I just have to say, thought to myself, first, you're a woman in math, which is amazing because I really struggled with math. But then you went on to actually use those math skills, which is,
yes,
a lot of people leave university and don't even use those skills, right? And here you are, but then you left it all to do something creative. So you use both sides of your brain.
Which was, I'm really blessed for that. So what happened was, while I was in university, I was, I'm in math, and I have friends who are also in math, in engineering, and in science. And none of my friends like to shop, and I loved it. So anytime I went to the mall, I'd go to the Bay or, Winners or wherever, and I'd pick up clothing for them, and I'd say, I think this would look great on you. So I did it for fun. And once I went into the corporate world, I actually had people come up to me randomly say, where do you get your clothes? You always look so good. And so I would tell them that, I just frequent the mall and go to Winners and that sort of thing. And then I had some brave people say to me, can you shop for me as well? And I said, sure, it's fun for me, so why not? And so I started shopping for some people at work, and I did it for fun for almost 20 years.
Well, so and I have to say, there's one thing to shop and love shopping, but to shop for somebody else and know that it's going to work for them, that's pretty amazing. How do you do that?
I honestly don't know. It's one of those things, I just feel I have an eye for it. So there's lots of times where I've picked up stuff, and we're talking about women of all shapes and sizes. We're all different, and it's a lot of times there's so much out there. There's so many different materials and prints and styles and variety that it was just, I don't know, it was one of those things. I'd see an article of clothing and I would say, you know, this would look great on Kim, whether it's a color, a print, that sort of thing. And luckily, 9 times out of 10, I was right. The odd time, if it didn't work for a friend of mine, this is because I was still doing this for fun, and I had the ability to return it because I was buying it from a retail store.
Right.
Had a return policy.
Right.
So what would happen is I would have a friend, whoever I thought of, I gave it to them, they would try it on, and if it didn't look right, I would look at it and I'd be like, oh, this will work for so-and-so instead, even though it doesn't work for you. So in that sense, it just, I don't know, I have a knack for it and I love it.
And you also have a knack for getting a good deal though. Like, you know when to buy something that's of good value, and
yes.
you seem to be able to find great sales or something like that. You just have this knack for being able to know when it's good value and you need to pick it up. You told me there's times when you pick stuff up and you just wait because you'll find somebody that it will be great for.
Yes. So somewhere in there, in this doing it for fun, I actually came across some suppliers that I was able to buy piecemeal, and it's overstock from US department stores, Macy's, Bloomingdale's, Saks, that sort of thing. And so yeah, I would pick up piecemeal clothing, and if I didn't have someone right now, I still hung on to it because I do a lot of classic clothing. And so like a nice pair of black pants, it doesn't matter what season we're in, you always need a nice pair of black pants. Speaking of black, actually, the bulk of my clothing, aside from staples like back pants, a black skirt, I actually do not buy black clothing because most people buy black clothing for themselves. A lot of people gravitate towards black, and let's face it, it has the slimming effect, it looks classy, and it's easy to as a go-to.
Yeah.
When you get into color and prints, it's much harder because people don't all realize that there's certain colors that people should not wear, and there's certain colors that they should wear that they don't even think of. And
Noor says she is so amazing. I do all my shopping through her.
that's fantastic. So yeah, so in that sense, I try and push people out of their comfort zone very slightly. It's more of a suggestion that I think this would look good on you. And if they're adamant against it, no problem. But I'm not there to change your style. If you are a casual dresser, I will stick to your style. I won't push you into, dresses if you hate dresses. But if you can't find dresses that suit your body shape, that's completely different. Then I will find you dresses that suit and are flattering for you.
Right. So, let's go back to, you left the corporate world, and did you know right away how this business was going to work and how you were going to set it up?
No, definitely not. So what happened was I left the corporate world. Before I left the corporate world in 2015, I actually went to Queen's and did my master's of analytics. And the whole time I was at Queen's, all I could think about was the clothing aspect of using data and analytics and AI and how I can incorporate in a potential business. I don't have a business at this point. It's all for fun so far. And all I could think about is if I can grow my customer database and do a heat map of clients and their demographics of their age or their profession or whatever it may be, so that if I did a heat map and I did it across Canada, for example, I have men's and women's clothing. And if I get a new client in, let's say, Vancouver, who's 30 years old, let's say,
Right.
I can use this data to then say what I can do predictive analytics to say, what is the likelihood that they will need in that profession at that age range, that sort of thing. And it will totally change my buying power going forward. So I'm very excited to use my analytics masters, and I do right now, but not to the point where my data set is still very small. But the whole time I was at Queen's, all I could think about was all the things I could do with all the stuff I was learning, the marketing analytics, the predictive analytics, the pricing analytics, and how I could use it in this business. So
this whole math background has really been great for you. It's like how you've really pulled it together with something that's, you love doing. And I think that's amazing. Like, I'm sure lots of people would love to be paid to shop for a living, but you're actually, going to make a business out of it. That's fantastic. So are you currently like building your database now? Is that what you're doing?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm very word of mouth. I find, even though I'm getting myself out there and I do posts, I find it's still very hard for people to trust you, because they don't know that I'm not a pushy person. They don't know that when they try on clothes, and if I feel that it is not flattering enough for them, I won't let them buy it. And they don't know that if they're iffy on it, then I won't let them buy it either. Because the last thing you need is to buy clothing and have it sitting in your closet. If you don't love it enough to pretty much wear it the next day, which is what I do. If I buy something, if I don't wear it the next day, or if I bought it for an event, it's totally different, because you have to wait for that event. But if it's everyday clothing, if I don't wear it the next day, I turn around and return it, because I didn't love it enough to put it on right away and to show it off. Right.
Yeah. That's so true. I don't know about other people, but I have bought things because I thought they were a good deal or on sale, or I've put them on and thought, it's okay, or I'll figure it out. Or I don't know if I have anything to go with it, but I'll figure it out. And then they just sit in my closet and I never wear them. It's so frustrating, but it sounds like you don't do that.
I definitely don't do that. And also I help my clients to, if they have bought a piece where it's no longer returnable, or something they love but don't know how to work with, I also help them with that. So they're able to show me that piece of clothing. And before COVID, I would actually go over to their house and they can pull stuff out of the closet and show me. They can try on the clothes that I bring over. Now with COVID, I've pivoted to a few different things. We either do a video chat. It still doesn't do clothing justice. It's very hard to see some of the colors and textures with people's different lighting in their house, and it's in the closet, so it's generally darker. It still works for at least them trying clothes on and me to offer an opinion. I've also actually on Sunday, what I did was I stood on the person's porch, did a contactless delivery, so just dropped it on their porch, texted them, they picked it up, and then I stood on their porch. They went into the house and tried on each outfit and basically just opened the door so I could see. And so that worked. Now that the restrictions are lightening up a little, if there's people who live alone and are okay with the social distancing, having another person in their home, since cleaners and babysitters are now allowed in, then I'm also able to come into their home and do the social distance so that they can try on the clothing and I can offer an opinion. And hopefully they will never be buying clothing again that they won't use, doesn't look flattering on them, you know, and utilize all of their wardrobe as you should.
Yes. So this would be an amazing service for entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
Because as you know, as entrepreneurs, we get so busy doing the work and working in our business and working on our business that sometimes, and like I know a lot of people probably in this group are like this, is they'll have presentations. You'll work on the presentation and how, you know, you're going to say some great stuff. And then all of a sudden it's like, what do I wear? Now, I like to have things that I can go to that I know are going to be comfortable. So to have somebody that helps me have that ahead of time so I'm not panicking would be fantastic.
Absolutely. And I do men's and women's clothing. And back in December, I met a guy who is a tech startup. And when I told him about my business, he said, "Oh my God, I have speaking engagements and I have no idea what to wear," because he's a tech startup. He's in jeans and sweats all day long.
Yeah.
And so I said to him, "No problem, I can help you." And then I asked him, "What is your size?" And he said, "I have no idea." So I said, "Okay, I can guess it." I've gotten really good at gauging people's size just because of the sheer number of people I meet and interact with. And so this happened in December. So we were talking back and forth in January and February. And then COVID happened in March. And basically he said, "I'm going nuts." So there's no way we can meet or anything. But when things slow down a little for him, because everybody wanted to move into the online world, right?
Yeah.
And so he's a tech startup for companies, like to help them start up all their tech pieces in terms of online and all that. And so he was hiring like crazy, and obviously he's not doing any kind of speaking engagements. So we're on hold for now, but that's okay. But there are lots of entrepreneurs that need that assistance. And it's also for the everyday person, you know, the busy parent. You're so busy, either as a mother or a father, busy looking after your children and ensuring they are clothed and fed and, you know, get to their activities, that you don't have time to shop for yourself and worry about you, as well as, you know, any kind of practitioner. I have doctors.
I just have to throw in, because you can't see the comments and I can, but Amy says, "I agree. I have bought lots of work clothes from Samira, and she has also come to my home and showed me how to wear things." So that's, I have to just throw that in too and interrupt. I'm so sorry, because that is brilliant. You know, it's also, like I said, when you get something and then all of a sudden you don't know what to wear it with or how to wear it, and you help with that too.
Well, for me, a big part, like clothing is very important. If it doesn't fit you right, you can look sloppy, you can look much bigger than you are, it can not be flattering. And so this kind of brings me to, size is really just a number. It's so important for it to fit you in the places it needs to fit you. And it's okay if it's one of those things that it has, like I have clients who are athletes and their legs are so muscular. So I both have male and female clients who are athletes, and we have to go at least up one size, if not two sometimes, to ensure it fits their legs. Well, the next thing you have to do is you have to nip it in the waist, because if you actually don't get it tailored and you use a belt, you still have bunching happening.
So yeah, that looks bad.
Exactly. So if you get it tailored and they just nip it a little, it's much cleaner and it still fits you nicely everywhere. So
Oh,
it's
that's great.
definitely an inexpensive way to ensure your look is complete.
And Nur says, yes, she helped my husband coordinate his suits with ties and shirts. We also have a question from somebody. Do you do jewelry and scarves that help accessorize clothes?
I don't actually right now. I can definitely offer advice on it. Perhaps in the future I will go into it. Right now I'm finding this is pretty overwhelming, and not overwhelming. This is as a part of complete for now. I will be going into accessories like purses as well.
Yeah.
Jewelry, if you have jewelry, I can definitely help you with that. I can also suggest some jewelry pieces that would work for outfits, but I don't carry them. So I can definitely offer the advice for those things.
Oh, great. And I have Tracy. She says, clothing was a challenge when I started working internationally because it was very formal compared to what I was used to. And I agree that clothing is important and fun. Yes. Tracy's from Sweden.
Wow.
I would just say that, like, it sounds like you have a lot of existing clients. How do you see your business expanding? Especially now that things have changed. Like, do you have a plan or what's going on?
So I would like to see it grow across Canada right now, and eventually in the US, but right now, not even right now, in general, the border is a big challenge. And
Right.
so
For
in
everyone.
terms of for everyone, and especially now.
Yeah.
I would like to grow it across Canada. Right now, I still see everybody in person. And even if they're a new client, which I've just picked up a couple, I would like to still see them because a video is not the same. And so even if it requires me, standing on their porch and them just opening the door, that's fine. It makes a really big difference when you see someone in person. I would like to see it grow across Canada and potentially fly out to each city to kind of do that.
Yeah.
I have to think about how I would then bring my goods, because obviously, flying in itself, you're allowed 2 suitcases. How many pieces of clothing can you really bring?
Right.
Generally, I bring about 10, 12 pieces of clothing for each client. It's not overwhelming. It's small enough that if everything works out, it's, not $1,000 out of their pocket, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And there's no obligation to buy anything. It's the first time especially it's trial and error, because I've had clients where even though we've had conversations and I've asked them things about their materials and stuff, there's so many little things that people forget. So for example, if I brought you a V-neck top and you said to me, oh, I'm sorry, I actually don't wear V-necks. Or I brought you a mock neck and you say, oh, I can't wear mock necks and turtlenecks, I feel like they're choking me. Yeah. But those are things, those are things a lot of people forget to mention until they see an article of clothing. So a lot of times the first time it's a trial and error.
Just getting to know each other.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. But then it can be such a great relationship once you know somebody.
And absolutely. And there's a lot of people who don't have time to shop. I have doctors and lawyers who, their time is better spent, whether it's to work or to spend with their family. They don't want to be spending that time shopping.
No.
And
I think you're going to find that more now. I don't know if, it's going to stay exactly the same, but it seems like, the way that you go into a store, it's not maybe necessarily going to be touching everything.
Right.
So having somebody like you, I actually see becoming more important, is somebody that's like a professional that goes in, knows what they see, knows what they need, and, you know, can pick things out quickly. I could see that being a great value for somebody that doesn't want to necessarily go and spend hours in the store,
Absolutely.
you know,
Like
in big crowds, right? And
yes,
taking your
absolutely.
kids or
Exactly.
yeah.
Even take Winners, for example. It's a store that people either love or hate. So
Yeah.
they love it because there's some great unique pieces, and they hate it because you could literally spend 2 hours at Winners and come out with nothing.
So just
So
for anybody that doesn't know that's on here, Winners
that's
is
right.
it's like a designer discount department store, and it's just
Correct.
racks and racks of clothing.
And a lot of times you may not find the same item in a different size. So if you liked it in a small but you're a medium,
Too bad.
it's a possibility that it doesn't have it.
Yeah.
And that's very similar to me as well. I have a lot of unique pieces, and so if you love it, you need to buy it, because I probably only have the one piece, and guaranteed the next person will pick it up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's something, but if you're on the fence on it, then my suggestion is generally not to purchase it, because I feel it will stay in your closet with tags on, and it will sit there taking up space.
Yes, and I still have some items there. So this has been excellent, and I love your journey. I love the fact that you've used your science and your creativity, and you're pulling it all together, and you're doing something that you're so passionate about. I can see the passion in you. I know that you've even given me tips already about things, and we were about to start to try and work together too, but then all this craziness, but we'll get back to that. But how is, I'd love to ask you one thing. If talking to either a new entrepreneur or somebody that's starting out or wants to start out, is there any advice or tip that you would give them?
I would say whatever you choose to do as an entrepreneur, you have to love it. If you don't love it, I want to say it'll be very hard to succeed, because it has to get you out of bed. There's so many challenges that are not in your control, like COVID, where businesses came to a screeching halt. And if you cannot work in those kind of environments where potentially you have no income, in Canada, we're blessed that the government offered lots of different assistance.
Yeah.
But there's so many days where I was working on things with people in Pakistan or Bangladesh or China, and the time zone difference is so much that at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'd be communicating with them. You have to love it, because you're not getting paid a salary anymore. You're getting paid in lump sums, maybe nothing for days and weeks, perhaps even months. You have to love it. It has to get you out of bed, because one day you will get there.
Well, it sounds like you found something that you love, and you're bringing it to fruition here. So, so how can people get hold of you, Samira?
So they can I put it in the comment later, but they can email me or call me. My website is under construction, but it's designerdaytonight.com. And you have the ability to follow me on Instagram and on Facebook through that, through the website, even though it's under construction. And they can also email me at stylist@designerdaytonight.com. And it's all the words, not a two or anything like that. And
we'll put all of that into the comments, and
fantastic
so about that. But
And even if you live somewhere else, like Sweden, for example, I'm totally open to doing a Zoom chat, and we can talk about any of the concerns or questions you may have that I can potentially help you with.
she can go into your closet with you and
Absolutely.
see your stuff and
Absolutely.
give you some advice.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's great at that. So, and then Gultar, is it? I have to be in the right frame of mind for winners. I'm with you there.
Totally.
So anyways, thank you so much, Samira. This has been great. I loved hearing about your business. I loved hearing about how you can give people advice on clothes. I'm always interested in that. It's funny how all of a sudden it'll, like I said, it'll be the last minute and I need something great to wear and I need help right then and there. So your service sounds fabulous to me, and I'm sure for a lot of other people too. So we will make sure that you can get in touch with Samira and reach out and talk to her about your style and your fashion. So thank you
so
very
much.
You take care. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you very much.
Okay, bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.